The only system
Your world will never be the same again. In television, Odyssey, a new dimension.
really only from Patterson.
Graphic 16 from NEC.
4,000 games console. Astrocade, the perfecter exceeded. And below.
326. Now get up to
system
The world will never be the same again. In television, Odyssey, a new dimension.
Really? Only from Penn.
Graphic 16 from NEC.
4,000 games console.
Astro K. Big Professor.
And below, 326. Now get up to
CDI starting at $299.
Child Video Entertainment System.
The only system you...
the world will never be the same again. In television, Odyssey, a new dimension.
Really? Only from Penn.
Graphic 16 from NEC.
4,000 games console.
Astro K. Big Professor.
And below, 326. Now get up to
CDI starting at $299.
Child Video Entertainment System.
Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. What would drive a person so insane to even embark on a quest like this? Tune in to find out. We're now in June of 1982, where we play it all. The last game we checked out was Kangaroo, when John Riddick of Gen X Grown Up showed up. Let's press forward and see our next game. It's time to go back home on our Atari computer and play Klystron Raider. At this point, there is only two major Atari systems, the 400 and 800. We won't see any more until 1983, so let's embark on them while we can. Let's see what Klystron Raider is all about. This is one we don't have a lot of artwork, just a few screenshots for, so it's time to just pop in and play Klystron Raider by Harvey Lynchner in the beginning of June 1982. All right, it boots right in. Disc, obviously. Now, this one is something that we're going to see later called Onslaught commercially. Klystron Raider has a few options for us. If we hit select on the computer, we can do players 1 and 2, I think. Oh, there we go. And we have different game modes. They adjust and stretch out. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so, wow, look at this. 13, 14, 15, 16 different game modes. Very nice. So, while we didn't get a manual, we do have some options here. We'll do a one-player game and see what game 1 is all about. After you push start on the system, it is a vertically scrolling affair with a star field in the background. Whoa, every time you kill one, you get a flash on the screen, but let's see what happens if I miss. I already was getting in the zone thinking, let's shoot everything we can. And it looks like we do have them fire back. Some homing missiles come at us. This looks like a really fun project that somebody sat down at their Atari and wanted to program. Whoa, and I shot... Oh, nice. So whatever was crossing the screen must have been like a supernova or a bomb that blew everything up. It gives you a little respite from the onslaught, which is what they're going to call it later. But this is the first time you could play this game. If this looks familiar, it's most likely you played Onslaught. That's why we didn't have a box for this one. Oh, gosh. Yeah, in the chat before we started the show, talking about the consoles coming out, I know that next year they deem the release of the Sega SG-1000 and the Nintendo Famicom as the start of the third generation of video game consoles. But I would say the biggest game changers that are going to come out pretty soon is the ColecoVision, and then, of course, the Commodore 64 that we haven't seen yet. But we've already seen consoles that I've never heard of before, like the CreativeVision, and they come and go so quick. The Arcadia 2001 is another one that's not super popular. I didn't know anybody that had one at the time. And here we are on home computers, though. They will help us get the edge off with all those arcade titles coming home. I can't pin down what exact arcade game they're going for here, because it's a constantly scrolling game. It's definitely a space shoot-'em-up, lots of fun. And it's another one of those games that you can just zone out, get in the mood to play a really good shooter, because this just keeps going, and it's more of a focused affair, and I like that. It's pretty cool. Can't remember exactly where we're going to see the commercial release of Onslaught, but Klystron Raider, you can tell, is just good, clean shooting fun in 1982. I'm thinking this is fairly average for the time. It's not doing anything bad, not doing anything good. I'm thinking 3 stars of all the home computer games you could play at the time. The scrolling is very nice, though. Vertically scrolling on the Atari home computer. Gosh, yeah. That flashing, though, wow. Oh, wait, I was firing this off like Space Invaders. 1 shot at a time, but no, look at this. Whoa, okay, we got 3 shots. Do I rate it higher just because I got more firepower? It feels like I should be controlling this with a paddle, but joystick only on this one. I tried the paddles out earlier before the show started, because you notice that the ship's over on the far left and right side. I can't get across the screen fast enough to be able to shoot them. If I had a paddle, though, then I would be able to. Yeah, okay, that's fun. It is perfectly average for 1982, or everything we've seen up to this point on the home computer. I'm going 3 stars for Klystron Raider. And most likely we'll see Onslaught later with some more artwork if you're more familiar with that one. Let's press forward and see our next game. Yes, here we go. This is Moon Patrol in the arcade. Really excited to show this one off. I was hoping when we had Gen X grown up here, we'd be able to showcase this one, but you never know with a show that runs from 1 hour. This is another really seminal arcade game, very, very classic. Let's see what the artwork's like for Moon Patrol. Originally released in Japan, and that's where we're going to be playing it by IRIM. This poster is the Williams poster that was for North America. Very nice. Slightly cartoonish graphics, but the seriousness of you're going to play a good space shooter. An incredible thing happens when a person takes control of Williams Moon Patrol. And then we flip it on the back. Even more artwork on the left side with an example of the arcade cabinet. He can't let go. The striking realism and perspective of the screen graphics that keep a player strapped to the controls. The realism that puts the entire responsibility for the safety of the planet on his shoulders. And that's true. This is another milestone that it has parallax scrolling, but it's not the first. You could debate whether it was Jungle King we saw last episode or Moon Patrol that were one of the first major scrolling or parallax scrolling games, but we have seen parallax scrolling on home computers. So it's not like the newest thing, but it's for the arcades, it's the newest thing. Oh, yes. Oh, and I just saw the chat, Vectrex, yes. I'm really excited for that as well. All right, so we also have the release in Japan we're going to play. Here's the advertisement flyer they had. I don't know what IRIM was going for. IRIM's already done some great titles, and this one is just pretty boring, honestly. It just has some Japanese text. An example of a screenshot, though, it looks like an actual screenshot of the game down below, which is kind of rare to see. But the presentation itself doesn't sell it. You flip it over the back, though, and it explains how to play, where your shots are going to go, examples of the points, because you got to know that in 1982. Very nice. Pretty simple affair. And then here you go, the Williams arcade cabinet. Very, very, very classic. Even though we're in 1982, I still get the feels like this is still the golden age of arcade games. Take a look at that with an example of the game playing. Very nice. That looks a little more fabricated. This looks like someone took a picture of the cabinet. Love those much better. And there's the arcade PCB if you want to open the system up. For the control panel, this is jump, fire, and then you have a two-way joystick because that's all you need to move left and right. Save it on cost. And then there's the arcade marquee. Oh man, look at that. The colors pop. Williams really knows how to do it. And the space shooter, it's essentially a shoot 'em up, similar to what we've seen with Scramble or Moon Patrol, or the other horizontally scrolling shooters that we saw in 1981. But it's the parallax scrolling that sets this one apart. Oh, wow. And this one must be a fabricated IRIM poster. Very fancy. With some awesome background art. There we go. Oh, man. Love it. An example of the screenshot for Moon Patrol. We also have the manual. So this is what the operators would have gotten in North America. You can see the release as September 1982 for the manual release when it was in North America. We are in Japan playing the very first time. You could check this one out. And let's see what it has to say about the game itself. We have either upright or cocktail games. How do you install it? Make sure you don't electrocute yourself. Yeah, lots of instructions there. So this is the game operation. Move the patrol car from letter A to letter Z. Control the speed using the joystick. That's just moving left and right. As rocks and UFOs are encountered, press the control fire button to launch vertical and horizontal missiles to destroy the rock and UFO before you run into the rock, or the UFO destroys your patrol car. As craters are encountered, press the jump button to jump your patrol car over them. So now the jump feature is so new still. So this game is doing a horizontally scrolling jumping game. You are in a vehicle, but would you consider this a horizontal or 2D scrolling platformer? Again, it's brand new. Rocks are also to be jumped. Landmines that appear must be jumped. The only other game we've seen do this is, again, Jungle King that we played just last episode. It's so fresh. Let's move around and jump. And then we also get bonus points for everything there. And you can also make the game adjustments for dip switches. And we don't talk about it as much. Whenever you go and play an arcade game, you have lots of options. And we've seen that, and there's only been a couple games, or 2 or 3, that we've turned around the arcade cabinet, flipped a few switches to play. Yeah, so this is the, we had another game called Jump Bug that allowed you to jump, but I don't think there was a shoot mechanic with Jump Bug. It was a horizontally scrolling game. And then we had another one that was a combination Pac-Man and horizontally scrolling. So it's not a super fresh idea. The only thing that really sets this apart is the parallax scrolling. And for other versions, we have a bootleg called Moon Ranger, and then the, of course, Williams or Japan version. Let's go to Japan and play Moon Patrol by IRIM. Yeah, there we go. So if you can't see behind me because I'm kind of obscuring the instructions, over on the side, this is what you would have seen around the CRT to play Moon Patrol. They give you your objective. It's 5 goals, E, J, O, T, and Z. So you're moving from screen to screen, giving you that feeling that I'm accomplishing something. I'm moving forward and being able to play, see more of the moon. And then it also breaks down the points for you. One plays 25 cents. That's the way I like it. Let's put some coins in. Yes. The ones that say, oh, I can get further or do more, yeah, you bet they sucked a lot of quarters. Okay, so let's start it up. Nice ditty, and the wheel making you feel like you're on a terrain. I love it. Nice touch. Now, the emulation doesn't do it justice. If you played this in the arcades, the sound, I would say, pops even more. It is not just louder, but I'd say bassier. And that's what I feel is one of the best parts of the arcade. The way that they've changed and adjusted sound over time. You feel it best whenever you get in those cockpit arcade cabinets, the ones that fill your ears with sound all around. And if you look at the top of the screen, it's showing you the progression of how far you've gone. Really similar to Scramble and Super Cobra, games like that. But now we're doing it as a vehicle that is able to shoot and jump at the same time. The other thing I love about this is the amount of firepower you get. You can see that I'm firing in front to destroy obstacles, but I can also fire on top. There we go, we made it. So we made it to Section E. E for everyone gets to Section E. And it shows your time average. Oh man, so much. We're the first to plug in this arcade cabinet, so of course we broke a record. And then they change up the background, so you're seeing something different. Very nice touch. This also makes me feel like I'm playing a 1950s or 60s sci-fi movie. Based on the color scheme. Oh, I can't believe I thought I shot that one. And when you explode, your tires go everywhere. So cool. I don't know about you, but I consider Moon Patrol one of the best arcade games you could play up to this point. I wouldn't say as high as 5 stars, but it is up there as an excellent title. The mixture of shooting and jumping like this, with the scroll, and what Irem did with the graphics is just fantastic. I can't remember if this one saves your position. If we can just continue to pump in quarters and play to win. And as you progress, they add on something, just a little thing to notch the difficulty up and still make it a lot of fun. You can see the chasms have gotten larger. And I can fire multiple shots up on top. So you're having to watch 2 things at once, which is a good highlight and a mark of a really good arcade game right now. Also, something that you need to have to make a really good arcade game in 1982 is the constant music playing in the background. That's new and fresh. Oh, 5 for nostalgia? Yes. Yep, right there, they tricked. So you can shoot off one of the boulders to make it smaller, but then you have to determine, do you have enough time to be able to make the jump or not? And then I really enjoy how the enemies bomb down and actually make more... Wait a second, so you couldn't jump, you had to fire both of them. We were so close to Section J, too. All right, so we got enough coins in, let's go. And we continued right where we left off. There you go. So this one's pay to play. Last episode, when we played Jungle King, even if we had enough money, we couldn't continue right where we left off. It didn't save the screen you're on. So you should be able to... Oh, yeah, I made it by that one. Same one, this one. Got to make the jump. And we're in Section J. Which means I'm going to do my best to try to get to the end so you can see every scene. Oh, so much fun. Would you consider an arcade game that allows you to pay to play as a better game, or an arcade game that starts you over and you have to work for the better game? All right, so now we have the mines. Not able to do anything to shoot, so you really have to work on your jumping skills. Adjusting left and right to make it by. And this one you have to work how fast your patrol's moving left. Oh, easy with the speeds. There, they got me. I knew one was going to give me. Oh, yeah, the challenge courses. That's a lot of fun. Wow. This is one of the first times, I'd say this and Canyon Climber on the home computer, that are the pivotal. Let's get some good platforming in. Timing-wise, you have to understand the physics really well. Look at that. Oh, it's so cool. All right, we're halfway through. Don't think we have any more. We made it to M now, and we're just going to blow up these ones on top. Just barely made it by there. Oh yeah, slow everything down. That's a good strategy. These are the ones that can blow extra holes down for us, so I'm having to simultaneously shoot and jump if they make holes on the ground. Oh, wow, right before O, too. So let's see if they take us back exactly in the same spot. Get some more money in. Look at that, they do. Wow, yeah, it's total pay to play. For me, I would consider a better arcade game the one that allows, if you have enough money, you can keep putting quarters in and take over where you left off. You do see arcade games, though, that if they want to show off the skill. How good are you to move forward? So even if you have enough money, it doesn't matter. You got to be good enough to play the game, and you won't see the screens. But this way, you know, all the kids that have enough quarters, you can just keep pumping them in. Okay, so we're now on stage O. Oh, almost made it by. Yeah, the changeable terrain, love it. And because they're able to blow holes into the ground, it makes you feel like it could be different every time. Here it is. That's what I knew this was coming up. The incline. So you can time the shot and blow up one, but they're going to start adding more. And you got to admit, this is so similar to Jungle King. The incline's going the opposite direction, obviously, but it's amazing how close these games were released, and it's amazing that it was done by two different companies. Taito was Jungle King, and then here we are with Irem, and it's almost the same gameplay idea. Okay, we're going to back up a little bit. Okay, we're looking about halfway now. Oh, he's getting away from me. We blew a few holes, but we still were able to jump in. Nice. And we're now at section T. For terrific. Time to reach point T. And then our average time, top record. Oh, no bonus that time. Yeah, that's a good strategy. Nice. Pull back, shoot forward a little bit. Nice and easy. Slow it down a little bit. Oh, they dipped me down. So you'd have to blow up. And this is where you have to start memorizing the course. At least the course you play. I don't know for sure if every time you play it's a random course. I think from my knowledge it's the same thing every time. And so you can start memorizing what it is. At least before you start looping by. Oh, the turrets are here. Oh, man. They let you shoot the shot, which is a nice touch. What? Oh, he must have shot off right before. Oh, the tanks. Yep. Yeah, always the same. Well, we get to section Z, which that's actually another game later. Good. Nice. Easy. Ease off. The thing that's great about the gameplay is the shots that fire vertically are in a different speed than the shots that fire in front. Oh, I can't believe it! Is that the game over? Okay, good. Whew! And so your timing on enemies that are in front are going to be different than the timing of enemies on top. This is another one of those titles that we're seeing it here for the first time in the arcades, and we're going to see it a lot on the home computer after this. The copycats are swarming now. Or they're now playing it. All those developers are playing this game and saying, oh gosh, we need to make this game on a home computer. Oh, see right there. I wasn't paying attention to what was in front of me. I was only paying attention to what was on top. These guys making the chasms for me to jump. That's it. Z! Yes! We get a nice little ditty victory at the end. Yeah, Errol, I'm with you. It's a 4.5-star game. It's not to the tip of the tip of the iceberg, but still an excellent title in the realm of the video games that are the best, one of the best arcade games you could play at the time. All right, so Moon Patrol, we're gonna go 4.5 stars. Tell me your rating now. What would you say for Moon Patrol? Is the nostalgia getting to you? Because I can feel that too. The tug went back and forth whenever I was playing. Frogger did it for me as well. All right, so after Moon Patrol, we're gonna sadly leave the arcade. Let's see where we're going now. It's time to go back home and play Moosk Attack on the Apple II. This is one we've already seen for the Atari home computer, a very rare game that was released first by Online Systems on the Atari and then on the Apple II later. Majority of the time, Online Systems is doing Apple II first and then the Atari. This is different. All right, so let's take a look at the box for Moosk Attack. It is the same, very well done artwork for a home computer game. This is by John Harris, who's also the author of Jawbreaker, very popular at the time, compatible with the Sirius Joyport. So this one allows, I think, 2 different styles of joysticks you could play at the time. And then for other artwork, we have this example of the 5 1/4 floppy disk and a screenshot. I see you there. Yeah, for ratings, we only go half star, or it only allows half star, but every now and then I want a 1/4 star, just a notch above. All right, so this time we didn't get manual or any other artwork. Let's pop in Moosk Attack and play it on our Apple II. This is by Ken Williams and Al Nystrom of Online Systems, the beginning of June 1982. Now, we played this on the Atari, and it's pretty much like a Pac-Man variant. Still a fun game to play. I said 3.5 stars on the Atari. Let's see what we're going to see for the Apple II. And we get a ditty. 3 blind mice, very fitting. I don't think we had a song on the Atari when we played. So here they got some more time to develop and put a song in for the Apple II. Nice. Yes, it's Buff Mario again. We're going to look nothing like him, though. All right, after a song, that always gets us in the mood. There you go. Way to go, Ken and Al. How many players do you want? This is a 2-player game, but alternate play, so no simultaneous here. I'll go 1 player, and then you can see the options. We got the Joyport if you want to use Atari joysticks on your Apple II. Yeah, it's a thing. I would do that. And you can also have TG Products joystick. So I'm going to go with the Atari joystick. That's the one we have plugged in. I'd rather play on the Atari. Here we go. Did mine turn off? Oh, no, I switched the wrong one. I was supposed to push T. Let's see if we can... Oh, the escape key or break is our pause. Yeah, I wanted the other Joyport instead of the other one. I plugged in Atari. I wanted to play with that one and push the wrong key. Let's try it again. Booting up Moosk Attack. There was a reset or a pause, but it wasn't working for me, so we'll just try it a different way. We'll fast forward through the song. No more waiting on loads. How many players? We want 1 player. What do you want to play with? We want to play with the joystick. There we go. Nice. Now we got our Atari plugged in. And this design looks different than the Atari home computer. The Apple II looks more like a few other maze games we played, but the look and feel is different. Gameplay's similar. In this game, instead of having to pick up things from like dots or eat food like Pac-Man, you are just building pipes. We're supposed to be playing as the buff Mario we saw in the front of the box, and you're just trying to connect all of the pipes together. So this one, the power-ups appear at random, and whenever you move around the screen, there is more of avoiding and dodging rather than on using a tactic or a power-up to move through like Pac-Man. You can see we got one that popped in there, and we can use that to help us out and connect the dots. There we go, picked it up. We can drop it again and use that to trap. There's some of the mice. They fell for it over in the top left of the screen. And you're just supposed to connect all the pieces and don't get caught. I think, okay, we have to outwit them. That's it. So we're vulnerable if we haven't picked anything up. A slightly different tactic. Oh, they're coming at me. I'm not going to go for that one. Making my way here. We'll go back down. And see, they trapped. Oh, almost got me there. See, without the power-up, you feel a little more vulnerable in this one. So you can consider that a highlight of gameplay or not. If you're asking, why is it so quiet? This is pretty much the usual fare on the Apple II. No surprises there. Okay, they already ran in the first trap. We got the orange one coming at us. And every time you complete an entire maze of all the pipes, then it just moves on to a next one, repeat ad nauseum, increasing the speed. You can see the rats are coming at me a little faster now. So we are not the exterminator. We're not getting rid of rats. All we are is the plumber. We are the Mario. But Mario doesn't even exist yet. They still called him the Brave Carpenter. We don't know who Mario is. The actual name of Mario, I don't think it happens until we get to Mario Brothers. I'm just faking them out here, going back and forth. Yeah, so this one still, the gameplay is very similar to what we played on the Atari home computer. I'm still thinking 3.5 stars of all the games you could play on a home computer. It's a fun game, pretty close to average of what you see for the time, but because they're doing something even remotely different to Pac-Man, that vulnerability, I think, helps and adds to the gameplay. And the way they design the mazes allows you a way to get out. So you have to think ahead, be smart on the movement, and not rely so much on a power-up. And I can go pick up that trap. Oh, they got me that time. Very nice. Yeah, Musketak is one I've never heard of. I kept it with most of the games by online systems. Wasn't familiar with this one. So there you go. I can pick up the trap. Now we can use this if we get led there. I can drop it there, and you can see they're trapped in. Nice touch. And then what are we missing? Okay, over here on the bottom right. Nice. And there you go. And it repeats over and over and over again. But still a fun time. Of all the games you can play on a home computer, I'm saying 3.5 stars. It is an above average title. It's that Pac-Man craze everyone loves, but just tweaked up a little bit. Just a notch. All right, so after Musketak, and sadly we got to leave online systems, I want to see everything that they have to offer. Let's press forward and see our next game. Here we are on the Sinclair ZX81. This is Othello. We are going to England to play Othello. This one was released 2 different times in 2 different ways, and I think in the 80s you had to have a home computer with Othello. I mean, there's no way we're going to find a home computer without Othello. And here it is. Let's take a look at the box for Othello by CDS Microsystems. That was one of the times it was released, and it was also released by several others as well. Further artwork you can see, flip it over the back, and it's a game of skill and strategy for 2 players. We know. We've already played so much Othello. You can play against the computer or another person for this game. Very nice touch at the time. There's the cassette we're going to pop in. CD Microsystems, and an example of one of the screenshots. Let's pop in and play Othello. Developed by Vortex Software and published by CDS Microsystems, the beginning of June 1982. Yes, bask in the ZX81 black and white. Do we want instructions? I don't know if we want to do it or not. It's probably going to be so wordy. Yes, it's played by an 8x8 board with rows numbered 1 to 8, columns. Oh man, it's going to be a text parser we have to type it in? I bet it is. Vertical diagonal run of pieces, turning them into yours. Oh, they give you an example. That's pretty flashy, but I can't go past this. Okay, there you go. They actually need you to watch to see what happens. And you have to capture at least one of the pieces this way, and possible forfeit by entering. Yet you have to enter. So it's a interface that's a text parser. We do not want to repeat any instructions. Should I play my best? Oh, cool. Now the computer's asked us this a few times. I think that's funny that the computers. Do you really want to play my best? No. I'm going to say do not play your best. And yes, play fast. Don't play slow. Let's go. We're going to be black. And then do you want to go first? Yes. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Okay, it's our turn. Our move, and we got to type it in the text parser. So if we're black, let's go 6E, right? 6E. 6. Oh, wait, E, then 6. Sorry, you got to go do it the other way. That gives you one of my pieces. I am thinking. When we started this in the 70s playing, oh, it blocks out for the thinking. Yes. The old school way. So when we played home computers in the 70s and they had to think, they would blank like this, and then we were able to play home computer board games and start timing how long it would take to think. Look at that. That's still thinking for a while before it goes to the next one. Yes. Eventually every computer is going to have solitaire, right? All right, so we're not going to go any further. You get the presentation. You get how it works. It is the text parser. Of all the home computer games, it's, I'd say, still around the bad range because it's Othello. I mean, and because of how well this plays compared to other Othellos, it's still a bad title. I'm going to go 2 stars. If you had a ZX81 and you wanted to play against the computer or a player, you could, and here you go with Othello. But I'm still going to say 2 stars because there's lots more out there that is much better fare. All right, so after Othello, we're going to see a lot more of this. Let's press forward and see our next game. Right after this commercial break.
When it comes to video games, nobody compares to Atari.
I find Intellivision more sophisticated and lifelike.
Gentlemen,
It's the Atari and Intellivision doubles.
The Commodore VIC-20. Move over. The Commodore VIC-20 does more than your machines. It's a great computer that also plays great games, like this.
That guy got to say move over to William
A
Shatner.
computer that plays great games?
Under $300?
Exactly.
We didn't know.
We didn't know.
VIC-20.
The reason why that commercial sells is Commodore at the time was selling VIC-20s at the toy store with other toys like Atari and Intellivision, the consoles. That's the way to go. And that's how they're going to do the Commodore 64 when it comes out. Sell it with all the other consoles, but even though it's a full computer, it's a great idea. I want to be the guy that tells Captain Kirk, move over. All right, so this is Paratroopers for the Commodore VIC-20. Let's take a look at Paratroopers starting with the box. All right. So this is the second release, because I can find more artwork for it, published by Rabbit Software. It's the Sabotage games we've seen before, or a Sabotage variant. You see this unexpanded VIC-20. We can use keyboard or joystick for it, and then flip it over on the back. Oh, we don't have a back. No back. Let's do the artwork we have for Paratroopers. We also have the first one that came out, which is by Computer Mat. Same, more cartoonish artwork. I don't know which one I would prefer based on the two of them, but I mean, they're both fun. It's going to be a fun shooting game. That's what we're expecting. And then here's the ad you would have seen in magazines at the time. They will make your computer go crazy with fear because the paratroopers have landed. This style of game we've already seen, I think, 4 or 5 times, where we have to shoot everybody, get the paratroopers down before they land on the ground and come after you. This is the cassette you would have popped in at the time. The re-release by Rabbit is 83, but this is the first one we're going to be playing by Computer Mat in 82, with an example of the screenshot. It's time to play Paratroopers. Pop in that cassette and play in the beginning of June 1982 by Nick Dudzik of Antrim. And Computer Mat is the first publisher, which is the first one we're playing. All right, so I like to see the super fast way to play. It is more difficult, obviously, but I need you to see the frame rate, and I really appreciate this on the Commodore VIC-20. So here we go, pushing 4 for super fast. And there's our scores. We get helicopters 45, parachutes 30, and then if you get bullets, you lose points. So you want to avoid that. Or every time you shoot bullets, you lose points, which is usual for Sabotage games. I just saw the comments. Oh, man, that's great, man. Like, keep it coming, man. It only takes 3 men to drive a tank, so watch out. You may have to use the joystick, but it's not as sensitive as the keyboard. Oh, well, I'm going to use joystick. The spacebar will fire a bullet. The right shift will move your gun to the left or right. One of the cursor keys will move to the left and right. So you can use the keys to move your turret left and right, but only on the keyboard. So that's what they're saying by the fine-tuned controls. The joystick only moves the turret left and right and then fires. So ready? Here we go. Check this out. Look at how smooth. And so every time I'm firing a bullet off, you can see down at the bottom, it's keeping track of my score. This is a really, really fast, frenzied game, and I am putting this on the hardest difficulty, but look how smooth this is. Specifically for a system, we're playing on a 50 hertz television in Europe for the first release by Computer Mat. That's so cool. And done really, really well. also love the tiny, tiny pixels of the paratroopers. And if we wanted to, you can... Oh, I was going to readjust, but no, they're landing. I was going to use the keyboard for more fine-tooth controls, but it also allows you to fire, and then after the wave of bullets comes, you can redirect those bullets with your shots at the top. I was just amazed when I cranked this up how much was happening on the screen on the VIC-20. It's programmed very, very well. Oh, they're dropping, they're dropping. I also like the sabotage formula that you cannot just continue to shoot or you lose points, because you notice by my gun that's keeping track of everybody, or keeping track of my points, and every time I shoot, I'm losing just a little bit. It's a great way of recording accuracy without actually recording accuracy. Oh no, they ran off and then they blow us up. But take a look at the frame rate between whenever you play and the helicopters blow up and whenever you blow up. Oh gosh, they're everywhere. That was my favorite thing to do on these style of games, is shoot a few bullets and then curve them. Curve them in midair like this, just for fun. It feels like you have a shooter which isn't giving you too much to work with, but you're still having a blast doing it. Yes, that's true. We played this originally in the arcade in the 70s, so it's cool playing at home like this. Maybe it would appeal to the old school arcade gamers, maybe not, but still a really fun affair. All right, so that is Paratroopers. Of all the home computers you could play for the time, it's a classic and plays really well and fun. And while I was just using the joystick, you can do the keyboard and then move yourself left and right. Probably not. I don't think Shatner did. He introduces the games as if it's something brand new. But I mean, come on, he's one of the reasons we have the space shooter genre. It's because of Star Trek. All right, so of all the games you could play, it's a well-done title. I'm going to go 3.5 stars. While you could say the gameplay isn't as fresh, it's a well-done game and still very fun for the time. 3.5 stars for Paratroopers. All right, and after that, what's our next game? It's time to go to the PC and play PC Challenge. Now, of all the PC games that we have, most of them are made at home or put in as type-in. This is one of the first times that we have the magazine. This is the June issue of PC Magazine, Volume 1, Number 3 in 1982. And this is where the first time you wouldn't be able to play the game we're about to play. And it's so fitting because it has the Charlie Chaplin, what they're doing in the ads currently on television. And they have an article on Gary Kindle, the man who created CPM. So that's what we're going to be getting the first time you would have been able to play the game. And we're just going to pop in and play PC Challenge. At some point in June 1982 is whenever this one came out. Or I guess whenever you could type it in from the magazine. All right, so we need cursor keys to move the paddle, and then we can input the drag factor. 100 is medium, 0 is fast. So let's do the medium rating, and you can see it's between you can put in the number you want to change it up. But here's the game, PC Challenge, and we want a large paddle, so I'll do L. And we have a little ad at the bottom. Check it out. Stay on the ball with PC Magazine. All PC Challenge is this. It is essentially Pong, but there's no other player. Or it's essentially Breakout, but there's no bricks. So it's I would say a regression considering all the games we played. There was one other that we played on the Atari home computer that was another type-in game. But you can see this is something you would have played around with your PC Magazine and typed in. This is all it is. And it's giving you a score based on how many... Wait, is there any score? No, there's not. All this is just keeping the ball up. And that's all it is. So if there's no score... Then what's the point? And just to show you, I'm serious. Look at this. They're not keeping score. It's just how many balls you have left. So because it is a regression, I would say for PC Challenge, I'm calling this one broken of all the games you could play at the time. It is a worse time waster than even handhelds. I'm going to go one... let me think. I'll go 1 star. I won't go half. I'll say 1 star for it. Yeah, Errol's with me on 1. All right, so after PC Challenge, we are playing everything here. Let's press forward and see our next game.
Here are the controls of an
We're back on the Commodore VIC-20. This is the Pharaoh's Tomb. Let's take a look at the Pharaoh's Tomb and see what it's all about, starting with the box. This is another one by Analog. 16K needed for this one. Pretty bare bones cover. We're going to Egypt, I guess. Not one that I'm familiar with. And this one is the back of the cassette you'd see. So this is just the cassette box. And there's the ad you see in magazines by Analog. Where is it? There it is, bottom left corner. Pharaoh's Tomb. Once you enter, the only way out is with the aid of a key, which unlocks the mystery of the Pharaoh's Tomb. That doesn't really explain that much. There's the cassette tape we're going to pop in. And we also have, yeah, just an alternate version. It's time to play Pharaoh's Tomb by Analog Software. D.R. Gammon did this one the beginning of June 1982. All right, time to load. We're going to speed this up. Hitting fast forward. There we go. Analog Computers presents the Pharaoh's Tomb. Would you like instructions? Yes. Tell us what the Pharaoh's Tomb's about. Adventure. Your aim is to find the 4 parts of the Pharaoh's Key and enter the magical triangle of the gods. During your quest, you may encounter lizards, bats, and spiders. These all inflict wounds upon you, but only the accumulative effect may kill you. Talk about poison will kill us? It is also a long time since your last meal, and you have to eat before you starve to death. Fruit is very filling. So you have to go find fruit. And then here's our controls. It's keyboard only. No Commodore joystick will work here. Good luck, adventurer. Loading time is 8 minutes, and they're not kidding. It is really 8 minutes. And the only controls are, if you look down at your Commodore VIC-20 keyboard, it'll make sense, but that's all. We're just going to be moving around. And we are not waiting for this to load. We are bypassing 8 minutes, and now we're back. All right, so we're in. The control is just to move around. So there we are. We are a very blocky character. Is this one of the first times we get to play as an African American or an Egyptian in a game? Because I'm trying to think of any. Most of the time we have characters like Pac-Man or blocky characters, but not humanoid players. So it's even rare to see that. All right, so I don't know what this is over here. Let's go pick this up. We have no other keys besides moving around. But we got to pick that up. I don't know what it does. All I can do is move, which means if there's no key for action, I'm going to pick up tools to use with me. But also, if we're starving to death, I'm going to try some keys. I might break the game. Let's see. Okay, just want to see if there's an inventory, like pushing I or something, but no, we don't have it. All right, so we're moving around top down. We have a key we just picked up. I wonder if it works here on this door. No. And since there's no extra buttons, the only command is just to move around. It looks like there's an arrow on the other side, but I can't get to it. That's true. Of all the genuineness of the early 80s, I don't want to give everyone the genuineness of loading times because it's brutal. No, lizard's coming after me. Oh, this lizard is... What is this lizard doing? Is it even... I think it's randomly moving around. Yeah, okay, we'll keep him there and go over to the right. Movement is a little slow. Oh, this is weird. Are we in the dark maze? Or is this just an open room? Wait, something just flashed. They're showing us traps, I believe. It was... They just randomly made traps and then killed us. There's also no sound, and that's very bizarre for the Commodore VIC-20. There could be some bleeps and bloops, but we don't hear anything. Do not adjust your volume. It is only my voice because the game is silent. So Pharaoh's Tomb is a title that is trying to be a little more graphic than adventure for the Atari VCS, but it's not really delivering anything we haven't seen or new. I do enjoy a few of the games we played that you go room to room, and there's a puzzle or a challenge in the room, and this kind of has that, but the controls are pretty simple. All you do is move up, down, left, and right. Let's see if we can sneak by our buddy here. Okay, you can't go by the trees. I don't think I can sneak by him. Let's see. Go. I'll just go. Okay, I'll just go left. And let's see what this one has for us. So every room is doing something unique, which is maybe that's the draw. Going from room to room to see if you have something new to discover, like you are on an adventure. All right, so this next room has AD. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Looks like we can't slip this way, so we have to work our way around here. We have another door, and then it looks like a crank, which is possibly a puzzle. So for 1982, even though there's no sound, this still would have been a pretty fun game. If you saw in the magazine, this is cheap for the time. Oh, nice. If you've enjoyed this adventure, then ask about the new adventure. It is an ad. It's an actual ad for another game. Zock's Kingdom. Hit any key to continue. Okay, so my King's Quest fans out there, who remembers in King's Quest 2, there was a hole that you looked inside and it was an ad for Space Quest 2? Does anyone remember that? This is one of the first times we've seen them doing an advertisement about their other game inside of a game. That's true. It's going to do it better in the arcades. Twickenham. All right, so let's go to this side. Can we flip the switch? Not here. How about here? Can this open the door? The only controls I have is to move around, so I'm just trying to see if it flips it. No, I don't think so. No, still doesn't. Okay, we'll go to the left then. Making our way around. I can't believe it was an actual ad. They put an actual ad for the game in. Now, we did find one key. I guess I can try it on this door. But I don't know for sure what my inventory is. So while the game has the draw of let's go to each room and explore, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, and there's no button. Possible lack of a documentation makes it a little confusing, but still fun and highly ambitious, obviously. All right, so there's a quick taste of Pharaoh's Tomb. It is a title that is slightly misleading or confusing, but I still say it's around the games we would play for the time for 1982, and it does draw me in, making me want to see more rooms. Plus, if you were to buy this at the time, I think we're missing out on a manual or a few more instructions. The game had instructions, but all they provided was movement, and that was it. Oh yeah, there was fruit. We just couldn't get past the door. All right, so I'm going to say all the games you could play, I'm going to go still average, 3 stars. I'm going to say not just because of our experience, but because if you had this at the time, you would have a little bit more information about it. Maybe there was some nerd in the store that could help you out, but I'll say 3 stars, still around the average range of all the games you could play on a home computer. Yeah, and the advertisement, that bumps it up a notch for me. Advertising the next game, it's like saying, we know this game's pretty bad, but here's an ad for another game. Check that one out instead. All right, let's press forward and see our next game. We're on the ZX Spectrum. This is Racetrack. The Racetrack is another title we don't have a lot of information for, just a screenshot, and we have different versions by Sinclair Research. So let's pop in the cassette and play Racetrack by Andrew Quilley, the beginning of June 1982, published by Sinclair Research. The object is to steer your car around the track as fast as possible. There's 4 controls. Key numbers 7, 6, 5, and 8 are your speed and how you move around. So just bear in mind, it's just the cursor keys. So if you have your spongy ZX Spectrum, look at the top, that's your keyboard, and that's how you'll move yourself around. The longer you press a key, the faster it will travel in that direction. Do not press any key, you'll continue at a constant speed. To slow down, you just go the opposite direction. So it's pretty simple. They can have a skill level between 0 and 9, so let's go 5 and see what that's like. All right, we're in. I am on the left side of the screen as a dot. And if I just notch forward, nice and easy. Okay, yeah, it is keeping and retaining the direction I push on the keyboard. Turn, keep turning. Turn, nice and easy. Oh, weird. This is almost like I'm flying a ship, not driving a car. Because the inertia of the... The inertia of the car continues to move after you've pushed the button you want. Game over. Do you want another try? Sure, why not? We'll do another one. Let's do a level 3 this time then. This is another title I'd say is... We know the ZX Spectrum's new, so it's like just getting their feet wet. Playing a fun, time-wasting game. I feel like this might have been typed in, too. But as far as a driving racing game, they're presenting it that way, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like I'm flying a ship that has to steer itself correctly around the turns. Yeah, and then you crash whenever it goes. So, weird, bizarre, definitely bad. Is it broken? It's close. I'd say of all the games we played to this point, Racetrack is down here in the 1. maybe even between 1 and 1.5. So 1 star for Racetrack of all the games you can play on a home computer. Now the Spectrum, if you rated all of those, it might be a notch above because it's brand new. But for all the computers, no, it's 1 star. Put that as a coaster. And now let's see where we're going. It's time to go back to the arcade and play Radar Zone. I am not familiar with this one. Let's check out Radar Zone together. If you saw this in the arcade, would you put some quarters in? We have some advertisements that you would have seen, or the operators would have seen at this time. Radar Zone, cool name. I don't know exactly what it is based on the artwork, though. It looks like an awesome space shooter, but it's sadly not. So I wonder if it confused a lot of operators. Look at that, though. Great artwork, done very well. Century Electronics did this one. There's the example of the arcade PCB, and then it looks like an 8-way joystick, and then you can drop a gap. So you have 1 button you can use to play, and then it is a 2-player game, but alternate play. There's our arcade marquee with an example of the screenshot. This looks like Amadar. At least you look at the gameplay on the side, if it's playing in the attract mode. It's also available as a game called Outline, if you saw that one. And it's also available as a game called Toonie, and it has a revision that was available. We're going to go to the arcades and play the first one by Century Electronics. We're going to North America.
System operational.
Oh, it's talking to us. Love it. Oh, now that gets all the feels. We haven't seen Sinistar yet. I'm really excited for Sinistar. But of all the games that talk to us, that's going to be the crazy one. Any game that talks to us, I get excited. Okay, so here we go. Let's put some coins in. Move the painter along the lines and avoid chasers. Only 3 gaps can be used at any one time. Okay, so I guess you can make a gap to make them stop. But, I mean, look how tiny it is. Is that really... It looks like we're zoomed out from the main gameplay. All right, so put some coins in. Radar Zone.
Press start button.
Look at that. It's talking. So cool. All right, so put start. And then this is... Oh, like Tempest. I'll start on level 1. Select stage. All right, so we are in. We have an 8-way joystick, but why we have an 8-way joystick is the question, because it's only 90-degree angles here. But we're essentially playing Amadar, a grid capture style game. They are letting us push a gap in. Let's see what the gap looks like. Okay, I see. Do we still get points? We do, but it dissuades the enemy. Oh, uh-oh, we're trapped. Okay, so I just tried it out. I wanted to see, can I make a gap on either side? And I can't, but now I'm stuck. So my character is not moving. My tiny, tiny character is not moving. So what happens now? Oh, they build it back. Oh, I see. I see. So if this was your first time playing a game, let's say you're an Amadar fan, and this is something that would intrigue you, you would probably still be confused by this one. So I can understand why this one went under the radar, if you will. It's just too tiny. I can understand the resolution. It's still top-notch, but the character design and everything is just so small. It feels like I'm having to squint to see myself and play. That's a great way to describe it. Homework. All right, we're done. Oh, I was expecting it to fly at us like Tempest, but no, it did not. All right, so what do you think? Would you call this a bad arcade game? What are you doing, Century Electronics? If they played other grid capture games, we've played better ones at home. Check out Jeepers Creepers for the Atari home computer. That was a well-done one. Oh, it even had power-ups. I don't see that. I think this is just points. Doesn't it feel like you've been given an assignment and you're doing the color, paint by number or colors for your teacher? It also doesn't have a speed. This is the only speed I have to move the joystick around. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this bad. This is a 2-star game at best. That's so bizarre. We go to the arcade and we usually see the biggest, best games. I don't think this was going to be copied to home anytime soon. I know Amadar is. You know, the Gorilla was popular. But this one, it feels slower. There's also no power-ups to it. Crazy. Oh, that's why the voice could bump it up because it had talking. So it'd be a nice touch in the arcade having another video game talk to you. But I mean, like, it's possible we can mess with the dip switches in the background, get some challenge. You see, I'll drop that guy off. Yeah, it's got to go bad. I'm even a fan of kicks. That's a blast. Really fun to play. This one, it's too slow paced, and also not offering anything really fun for it. Yeah, right. More voice. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I see you, Victor. I see what you did there. All right, so for Radar Zone, let's go with a 2-star game. It's bad. It could have possibly some enjoyment for a small niche amount, but think of all the other arcade games out there. Of all the other titles, if you were in an arcade and you had all those Golden Age arcade games, Radar Zone, you'd pass by. Sadly, an arcade game, that's bad. What is going on here? All right, let's see what our next game is. Let's get out of here and head back home to the Commodore VIC-20 and check out Road Race. Road Race is another title, pretty obscure, no artwork, just a few screenshots. Let's pop in Road Race by Impact Software and play. Impact Software. So this one you can use keyboard or joystick. We are definitely going to use joystick. We have U is the dot and H is the crash card. Remember that one. I'm pushing J for joystick, and we are in. Here we go. It looks like a homemade head-on variant, or dodge 'em if you're a fan of the Atari version. Okay, wait a second. That's a little bizarre. While it is very, very slow paced, I can skip more than one. What? Okay. Now I know this is a homemade one, but they're allowing me to go anywhere I want. Watch this. I can go in the middle and go all the way down. Look. So in a way, it's almost letting you cheat the game. But the crash card can cheat too. This would be a fun way to play a few minutes. Look at that. Yeah, it's able to go any tier, so you can go any tier as well. Too crazy. All right, so I think we got the gist of it. That is Road Race for the Commodore VIC-20. Is it bad? Is it really? I find it a little charming because I just like head-on and dodge them. So I'll go 2.5 stars of all the games you could play. It still works for the most part. You can tell it's very simple, not super complicated, but it's not like a 3-star game, definitely. Yeah, and with that, we're going to end our evening on Road Race. That is where we put our video game playing on pause. Thank you so much for joining me, whether you're here live or watching the video at a later time. If you could go back to 1982, how would you rate all these games on our 5-star rating scale? We will continue playing every single video game. That's it for today, and like I always say, I'll see you in the arcade. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are Perpetually Retro, and we will catch you next time.